Hey guys, today I want to do a design challenge again. 5 different mess hall designs in 1 hour. But before we can do that, I need to prepare the planet. Once that has been done, we can start the mini design challenge. Starting the challenge as well as the timer right about now. Before building anything, I checked again how large the rooms can be. 32 tiles to 120 tiles in size. To warm up, we start with a standard 4 tile high room in a horizontal orientation. Slap down a whole bunch of mess tables and a little bit of decoration as well. What makes the Great Hall is first the decoration and second the recreational building. In our case, I'm just using the party line phone. For our statues to get a better decor value, we of course need a duplicate that can actually work on them. Next up, you know me, how about a few flowers and or plants in the base. I'm going with the diamond material arrow pots here, then probably fill them with a few body butts and maybe some bliss bursts. But most commonly I like to use the Joya seeds, since they can basically grow from 0 to 100 degrees Celsius. To round this up, we can decorate it with a background. I'm going with a light green here in combination with some white tiles. And this is how the finished product looks. It is a simple design, but it gives the dupes a place to eat. And now off to the second one. For the second one I wanted to do something non-totally standard, so how about we change the orientation of the room, make it a slightly bit smaller and then add a fire pole and maybe a few ladders. After adding the ladders, we can pretend that our base has a 3-tile wide travel system in the middle and that this room is separated via doors. I don't really like the material, so let's use plastic here and switch out the already constructed box. While doing that, we can make it slightly bigger in order for our 3-tile high room to fit perfectly, and then maybe add some windows. A proper mess or great hall of course needs some mess tables. For now I'm spacing them like this to leave room for a few recreational buildings, an arcade center and an espresso machine. Next up, a few more seeds for the decorational plants, then grab us a little worker that actually plants them. Maybe we get a fresh one. Adding another 2 party line phones won't hurt, and a little bit more decor to make it prettier. This time I'm going with the square blank canvases. And why not add a water cooler as well? Now we quickly skip the night, get us another duplicate that can plant all this stuff and is also capable of sculpting any sculptures if we might add one. Then we add a few more seeds and wait. Next to the lovely lamp we could add a few metal statues, and we also need to hook up the espresso machine as well as the arcade cabinet. For that I'm just using the dev tools to supply the thing with a little bit of water, and then I spawn in some pincher pepper nuts. It might also be a good idea to implement them into the design and just store them here in a storage bin. It took me a while to realize that you can't store them in a storage bin, but you can only store them in a fridge. That is because they are considered cooking ingredients. The dupe still hasn't finished the pictures, so let's spawn in a little bit of berry sludge. Then in order to fill the water cooler, I spilled water all over the place and had the duplicate mop it up. For the background design I wasn't sure at all. I switched back and forth so often that I'm going to show you the quick overview. I wasn't happy with the pixel packs at all and I deleted them. Then I changed to yellow, switched the middle out for another color, still didn't like it. After that I tried some black and white design. The black and white design was closer to what I actually wanted, but it was missing the finer details. Which is why I, after a lot of back and forth, settled with this design here. It keeps the spirit but is slightly more intricate. With this design is finished, the dupe can drop off and we can switch to the next one. Though we only have 38 minutes left on the clock. For the next one I remembered one of my shorts looking somewhat like this, so I used the design, switch it up with some glass, put some decor in it. For the floor we could use some metal for a change, place the ladders on the side, not the middle, close it off with 2 doors so we have the room bonus, and then add some hanging plant decor. I thought a rustic look would complement this, but the glass decor looks nicer. This time I'm heavily relying on the bliss burst. Dupe, could you just... Thank you. Since we do need a duplicate to plant them. After a good night's sleep, the duplicate is willing to help us. And for the middle I want a spore kit, but not in a hanging pot, but in a regular one. We do need a bit of carbon dioxide in it, and I need an auto sweeper to plant it. The auto sweeper has to grab it from below though. Now we can set the flower pot to spore kit, add a little bit of carbon dioxide and then keep on decorating. Let's keep the theme of the corner molding alive, though I'm not completely happy with the amount of metal tiles here. After switching out a few tiles it looks much less cramped in my opinion. We still do get a bit of decor from the metal tile. Then what makes a great hall is the mess tables, the additional decor and of course the recreation building, which I'm not sure of what building to use for now. After making myself happy with the Luma lamp, I redesigned the top a little bit and added a large blank canvas. Then the dread of designing the background got me again. I tested out a few colors just to go back to black and white again and ended up with this design here. Still not happy, I changed it out for this. Remembering that I had to add a recreation building for this to count as a great hall, I tried a party line phone, but the cable kept bugging me, which is why I switched it out for 2 water coolers, one with brackine and one with regular water, which finalizes our design. Quick check if it is still a great hole, it is, which finalizes our design like this. I am not completely happy with the top, but it is definitely not ordinary. Now we can start with the next one. We do have a horizontal and 2 vertical ones, meaning it might be time for another horizontal one. In order to not make it too easy, I started with a weird Tetris form, which made me think about Brothgar's Tetris base. It does help come up with weird room designs, starting with a few fridges and a little bit of decor, barely reachable via these ladders, and a little bit stylized like a maze with the help of these diamond glass tiles. I am stacking them alternating so we have place for all of the mess tables. In between we can use the 2 tile high areas for some hanging pots. Grab yourself a dupe, this time Ashcan, and throw in a lot of seeds. For this design I'm going all out on the briar seeds. The lower placed fridges also have the benefit of accumulating the carbon dioxide, being in a sterile atmosphere later on. But for now, how can we design the middle part? I wanted to have one bigger object that draws the attention. And since we do need a recreation building, I first thought about an espresso machine, but then about a mixer. Or how it is called in the game, the juicer. Which, by the way, is 3 tiles wide, not 2 tiles, which is why I couldn't place it at first. It had nothing to do with the height. And then I thought, why not make it symmetrical? With the help of the dev tool I copied it over and then got rid of everything that wasn't symmetrical. Replanted all the seeds, connected up the rooms, switched out this and that, tried out the wallflower pot for example, but I really didn't like that. I switched out the insulation for glass tiles, hooked up the power for the juicer, tried to hide the cable with pixel packs but didn't like it, and then realized that the room has been too big anyways for it to be a great hall. Hence I measured the correct size, closed it off, added a few tiles to the top, and then of course more decor spamming. Since we cannot use the room down there, I'm sending in the duplicant to sculpt us a few statues. Other than that, I'm bringing the pixel packs back, but this time we are filling the whole place with them, if I manage to find the right orientation for them to fit in. Cramming in pixel packs is a real pain in the butt, but after we manage that, we should have the maximum amount of decor for the tiny amount of available space that we have. Then we can hook it up to the grid and maybe hook it up to an automation cable so we can switch the colors if we desire to do so. We could also have the middle have a different color than the left and the right. After the duplicant finished sculpting all the statues, we can close this lower room, add back the pixel packs and then spawn in enough duplicants for all of our mess tables to get a designated duplicant for their own. They just look nicer that way. Then we spawn in whatever the juicer needs. It needs meal lice, bristleberry and mushrooms, by the way. A duplicant takes care of the filling process, and then I wanted to switch out a few more tiles. The middle metal tiles were not a good idea because of all the cables, but the left and right are fine. Then we can choose another color for the pixel packs, make it black or green, copy it over for every pixel pack, and then add a few more design features here and there. I wasn't so sure what I wanted to do with the middle, so I changed it out a few times. Even for my taste, that it was too much greenery, so I got rid of it and replaced it with a bit of crown molding. The space in the middle should also be big enough to fit a water cooler. That said, we had enough space for 2 more pixel packs, which I first tried to make another color, but then decided for black as well. As I mentioned before, with a little tweaking we can have the middle display another color than the left and the right. A simple duplicant motion sensor did the trick here. And with this our 4th design is done and we only have around 5 minutes left for the next one. So take your screenshot here if you want to rebuild this, and off we go with the last one. For me it was pretty clear that I wanted to include a monument in the last one. God damn it! After starting over a few times because I mismanaged to calculate the space needed correctly. Holy shit, this is way bigger than expected. We could finally start with the last great hole with only around 4 minutes left on the clock. At that moment in time I was pretty sure that I will not be able to finish this build, but I did have a picture in my mind how this setup should look. So even though I might not finish this in the record time of 1 hour, just joking by the way, I still wanted to get as far as possible and after that maybe finish it normally. By the way, I wasn't sure if the pressure would kill the diamond tiles here. As you may have already guessed, the idea here is that you have a giant aquarium right in the middle of our lovely mess hall. You know, like the large one in Dubai or the big fish tank / aquarium that bursted in Berlin. Let's hope for the duplicants that this doesn't repeat. For now we do still need the mess tables. This time I want to make it asymmetrical and maybe a little bit bigger. So let's get rid of the tiles up here and maybe give the duplicants access to this via a plastic ladder. Then we can surround everything with plastic tiles. The top can also be 4 tiles high. What else do we need? We pretty much don't have any time left. And the time is up. Time is up, but honestly I'm gonna give myself a little bit more time just to finish this. Let's be clear here, the little bit time that I gave myself was probably around almost more than half an hour. So let's skip to the important parts. I decided to add more mess tables on top. A nice sky-high dining experience for the duplicants. The left, top and right side all got pixel packs, and I did color them light blue to fit the aquarium theme. I wanted to prepare the top left and top right for the recreation buildings, clean up all the debris. No! Why, game? Why? There we are again, I fixed it. Took a while. Where did we stop? Alright, preparing the recreation buildings. Of course with the correct pixel packs behind them. After hooking them up, I expanded downwards as well. More mess tables and more decor included. The 2 tile high rooms felt too cramped though. You might have noticed that this room is way too big to be a great hall, which is why we are implementing 2 more doors. One in the top left and one in the down right. But because we have the automation cables behind them, the doors automatically closed forever. Meaning we have to reroute 1 or 2 cables. Easy fix, nothing serious. But we need to remember to do that for both doors. I then added 2 fridges and reminded myself to fill the soda fountain as well. With this and the duplicants having sculpted all the statues, we should be finished with the final Great Hall design for the day. I do like this quite a bit if I say so myself. Happy Dupe Aquarium being happy. And I do hope you are as well. If you like this kind of video format, let me know in the comments. And also leave a like for the algorithm. Love you guys and Luma out.